Somewhere hidden in this lump of plaster lies a treasure of ancient art. This is an unfinished story, the search for ancient people without faces and without history. Our search begins here in the Zagros Mountains, a natural barrier between the highlands of present-day Iran and the lowlands of Iraq, hidden in the mists to the west. Behind the cliffs lies a large natural basin. A single permanent village nestles against the mountainside. The people here live much as they have for centuries. And yet, long ago, something in this basin needed the protection of an elaborate fortress.
Most of the visitors to the site know that high above the village is a pinnacle-top castle, Yezdegird's castle, which sometimes can be seen with clouds swirling about it in the wintertime.
The local people have many legends about King Yezdegerd. Investigations show that these legends are more than just folklore. At the back of the basin, a spectacular gorge has been carved by the one stream that waters the basin. High up in the gorge is the holy shrine of the Aklahak, a religious sect of Islam. Its holy book claims not only that Yezdegerd built these fortifications, but explains how and why. Where to start searching for Yezdegerd? One promising place was a wide, flat area known as Yezdegerd's Maidan, or Yezdegerd's parade ground.
Almost immediately below the surface of the plowed field, we began to encounter a wall of masonry. The face of the wall had decorations that were still intact upon it. What is unique about this particular site is really the variety of the types they used in this particular time period. It is by far the richest of the Iranian sites which have been decorated in this way.
Ironically, this luxury, fit for a king, seemed too much luxury for a fortress built by King Yezdegierd. The evidence began to build against Yezdegierd. In particular, the style of the artwork was wrong. With no help from history, answers must come from the bricks and mortar, from the small finds, the pieces of glass and pottery, from the plaster decorations. High on the side of the basin, a dig house was built, a workplace where artifacts were cleaned, catalogued, and photographed. The dig house became a storehouse for artifacts and a home for as many as 12 staff. So crowded in the end that even the roof was used for work. After cataloging, these pieces were sent back to the dig house for more careful cleaning. Here, the team was still working on a large backlog of plaster fragments from the decorated rooms on the Maidan.
When paint was present on the decorated surface, it made our job much easier in a sense, because then we could identify the original layer immediately. Occasionally, we would find that the paint had decayed to such an extent that it was barely a powder on the surface of the plaster. In cases like that, we were able to consolidate with a substance called B72, which would prevent the paint from lifting off the plaster layer.
This particular piece took form as a plaque featuring the head and shoulders of a woman, a noblewoman judging by her Greek-style dress. It was most likely a portrait, considering its size and detailed work.
So we have this very intriguing situation that we're dealing with a ruin that doesn't seem to belong to King Yezdegierd anymore. There is a perfect good reason for Yezdegierd being there, but the site doesn't date to his period. Then we have a palace with all this artwork, but we have no people who seem to be responsible for these particular creations. And we have what looks like to be a very poor area that doesn't produce anything, and yet we have wealth showing itself in its ruins.
But there was a source of wealth close by, outside the basin, passing day after day. A whole river of riches in the purses of travelers. For thousands of years, travelers have passed below these cliffs on their way to one of the few passes through the Zagros Mountains. 2,000 years ago, this was the Great Silk Road. How much gold and silk never made it through the Zagros gates? From the lookout posts above the basin, caravans could be spotted miles away as they approached on the plain. Travelers were at the mercy of the Lord of Kali Yzdegerd.